Valparaiso. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Yes, we're doing a show on a Thursday. It's Scott and Mike. We have two shows we're going to do for next week because I'm heading down to Walt Disney World Monday and actually going to Springfield tomorrow at some point. I don't know exactly when we're going. We're going to watch Paige's team on Saturday afternoon play against the Lady Bears.
And you're all gonna be down there. Like Jocelyn is like already killing me. Like
I know that's even my Pam told me that today. She's like,
yeah.
Jocelyn took her whole family. Could you have taken your whole family? I'm like, I could have, but you couldn't have got off work. Now I couldn't have got out of school. It's like, oh yeah, it's true. I'm like, well, then why are you saying that? Yeah, I could have. I didn't ask because you would have said no. Yeah, they're having a good time. It looks like. Let's see here. File new.
I'm a little jealous. I'll be down there soon enough though.
Is there a Topolino's?
Gosh. Well, they were at Topolino's this morning, yeah, and like they had like my favorite old fashioned there.
Oh, let's see. So this is going to be
that steak they do at breakfast time is really good too.
And that'd be so good. 2235.
Raw. Trying to get a Fantasmic dinner package in a couple weeks. So like my boss is down there, and even she saw it. Like she did more in like her 3 days than I did in all of 2022. Like in the park, because they were like they're from like they did like 12 hours days in the parks. Like they just went hard, because they it was their first time they've never been.
Oh my gosh, those are the days though, right? Like when you
I know, like I kind of like when she was like recapping her, like we actually like did a trip report basically like in the office on Monday.
You should have recorded that.
I know I should have recorded it. She's telling me everything. I'm like, dang, like this is awesome. Like I kind of wish I kind of miss like going hard like that. Like I need to. Maybe one day this summer.
Forrester told me she got me a ticket to the DVC after hours thing.
What?
Is there one next week?
Probably. Yeah. Well, I hate you right now.
I'll go to bed at 10.
Those are my favorite events, man.
That's what I heard. I know. I even know what park it is.
I'm trying. I might buy. They have one of those after hour for Magic Kingdom the day after Princess. I might try to get one of those. But it's like $130 a person. It's gonna be like $400 for my family.
That's why you go solo.
But like those are like those are my favorite things. Like it's from like 10 to 1 in the morning. Like you got the Magic Kingdom like basically all to yourself by the end of the night. Like it's fun.
Disneyland, they put out the prices for that and all that stuff today too. Did you see it for the races?
Oh yeah, I saw this. I didn't see the pricing, but it's
about the same.
I figured it'd be about the same.
And they're doing kids races.
I saw the kid races, and I saw like the medal themes are like very equivalent to Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, which is kind of weird.
I don't care.
Because like the 5K is Pluto, the 10K was like Donald and Daisy, and then I don't know.
Well, they used to do it like was it the Dumbo Double Dare?
So the Dumbo Dare was awesome. But it was like different characters, I guess, every time. Well, the last year it was like duos, but it's just Pluto. Like Pluto doesn't have like a sidekick on his. Like it makes zero sense. I guess the 5K isn't part of the challenge though. So I don't know.
I just want to do it. I don't even care. I just want to be able to go.
So I'm gonna have problems because my boss's boss the other day was like, "Hey Scott, what do you have booked on your calendar on February 14th?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Run Disney registration reminder." She's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna schedule something during that time." I'm like, "No, you're killing me."
Oh, she's scheduling you for like a meeting or something during that time?
Yeah. So
you're
like, I'm gonna have to get creative.
I gotta resign.
Yeah, gonna have to figure something out. Like,
good question mark.
Whatever. I mean, I told her like, "Hey, it's Run Disney registration. That's why I have my calendar blocked." I was like, "But it's fine if you really need to book something over that." And I didn't think she would.
You're like, it's fine, but don't do it. No, I mean, I'll try for you, but the luck I have.
You're counting on me.
First, don't count on me because I suck.
Yeah.
Like, I will have my iPad. I will have this big computer, which apparently is the slowest computer in the world, in my MacBook, but I never get to the screen. I never do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
God, I want to do that. So I was talking about that tonight at dinner because I dropped Mallory at cheer, went to this little place, had my little chicken wrap real quick, and came home. And I was telling Pam so bad. I was like, I want this so bad. Like more than any other race, I want to be able to go to Disneyland. I want to be able to run through Disneyland. I want to run through the Big A. Oh, and that means I won't get it. I mean, I'm just telling myself I won't. And if I get it, I'll be giddy, but I won't. I'm just not counting on it. I have bad luck for stuff like this. But anyway, we'll see. At least it's only a couple weeks away now, and we'll find out. And I saw too, they have like graduated. Like if you sign up before like July 17th, it's this price. July 18th, it's that. Dude, that ain't gonna make it for 5 minutes. Like you're dreaming.
Yeah,
Whatever.
come on.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, who put that? Like,
Unless if it's for like the I think the yoga will sell out right away too.
everything. Yeah, even
Like, dude, I'm ready to sign up for the yoga in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle. Man, that sounds awesome.
Could you see us doing yoga? It's like $105. Could you see us doing that, dude?
I
That'd
don't
be
care.
the
Like,
easiest thing ever.
we'll go live.
Dude, I'd be like, I can't bend that way. I can't hardly go up the steps. Oh my god, that would be funny though. Okay, here we go.
Then you wouldn't be able to run the next day.
I know. No, maybe we'd be faster. I don't know. We'd be loose. Let's see. All right, so this is for a week from yesterday. Okay, so remember that. So it's like we're leading up to the Super Bowl. I'm trying to think of what's coming up.
So this is like next Wednesday's show.
Yeah, this is next Wednesdays, and then
Okay.
this will be next Fridays after
Okay,
that.
so this is like 6 days from now.
Yep, this is like we're recording next Monday.
Okay.
basically.
Okay. So it's the next Wednesday. Okay. It's your next listener question. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's what we would record Monday.
Okay.
So levels are right here. Real quick.
Well, everyone else is gonna be in Florida and I won't be. Some people will be cruising.
Is Ricky?
Do they cruise? Do they sail tomorrow?
They must.
Because I was looking at like the Wish, like and it sails out tomorrow. So they must be doing a 3-nighter.
It must be what they're doing. Let's see. I'm just seeing it. Ricky's at home. She's not gone yet. Should ask her if she want to come on. Oh,
She's gonna be mad when she sees this.
she said she was going to Walt Disney World. I told her we're doing this on Thursday. I wonder if she's not going. Oh. If you're watching, Ricky, come on in. The same link. Okay, here we go. 2235. Welcome to episode 2235 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week, and thanks so much for dropping in for some fun Disney talk. These listener question shows are great because we get to talk about a little bit of everything each and every midweek to kind of get you over that hump and pushing on towards the weekend, and hope the week's going great for you already. So today, well, Pam Forrester is down at Walt Disney World right now. And actually, I'm with her. Now, she's working me like a dog. But if you're going to work like a dog, the best place to work like a dog is at Walt Disney World. So I'm not complaining. We're having a good time and learning at the same time. Ricky was at Walt Disney World when we had to record this early so we could get this out so we didn't miss any episodes. So we are recording a bit early. So, I went to my brother from another mother. It's my buddy Scotty G. We're going to take the questions together today. Scott, how are things up in Michigan today?
Things are cold, Mike, but that's expected when you hit into the second month of the year. I think we talked about this on a live show. Like, there's a reason why February has 28 days, because it's like the worst month when you live where we live. But just all we gotta do is grind it out, right? Just grind out this month, and then next thing you know, it'll be March Madness and spring breaks and things like that, and the Masters. So we got good things coming, but we just got to get through a tough February. And let me just say, like, you are down in Florida, Pam is down in Florida, Ricky was just there, like that. I feel like that's a rarity where the three of you are there and I am not. Like, what is happening? I need to talk to my travel agent.
You're still in the net positive, though. You go a lot more than I do, and I
know
you for a living. So
I know. I can't complain. I cannot. I'm very blessed with how often we go.
Yeah, world's smallest violin right here on the video. Just so you know. Okay, I got to tell you this though. I haven't told you this via chat or via text or anything. That we've been getting feedback from the show. People always email me after the shows come out. We talk about whatever the questions were. I get feedback a lot of times. The topical shows, other thoughts on our topics.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times this past week, people have emailed about you coming on the show, and they have said that they enjoy our brief sports talk. at the beginning
What?
of the shows. I know. And I know a lot of people are like, oh God, shut up. We hate sports. But hey, it wouldn't real quick so we can drop that in and keep our few people that do like our sports talk. How cool would it be if this spring, you mentioned March, our two schools were to meet up in March Madness? Because the
I-
Mizzou looks like we might make the tournament for the first time in like 57 years.
You don't know how hard I'm rooting for that. There's a lot of games to be played because if you look at ESPN, Disney company right there, Joel Lenardi does his bracketology every Monday, where like this is where all the teams are projected, and he's usually kind of spot on. But like I saw the other day, we were not synced up, but there's still a lot of ball to be played. We could be like because Michigan State's not having one of their better years this year, so we could be like a 7-10 matchup or an 8-9 matchup. Big Ten versus SEC, Sparty versus Mike. Like, dude, I would be going to that game. I promise you, if that happens.
That'd be pretty sweet. It'd be a lot of we definitely have something riding on that contest. It'd be a lot of fun. So,
but where Michigan State is projected right now, according to Lenardi, is out west. So if that happens, then we fly out west, we go to Disneyland for a couple of days. Boom, it's an awesome trip, right?
okay, now you just got my anxiety level through the roof. Okay, back to the Disney talk because we got to sign up for the Disneyland races, all the runners here, and it is like a week away at this point. It's on Valentine's Day. What kind of sick joke is that by Disney? It's supposed to be the day of love and feeling happy and your heart's full. I know I'm not going to get in this race.
Like, it's going to be a day full of heartbreak is what it's going to be.
Totally. It's going to be like, Disney, I got my credit card. It's right there. Take my money. And it's going to be like, sorry, sucker, we can't even take your money. You're not running at Disneyland. Because you've always raved about what an experience it is at Disneyland. You've done it so many times. All July, you're like, you should have run these races. You should have. And now they're back. And I'm like so excited for it. Now I got my anxiety through the roof again. I want to run so.
They're not that great, Mike.
Okay, yeah, they're terrible.
That's what we need to start telling everyone. Like, oh, you don't want to spend your vacation time going out west in January to run a race. Like, no, save that for another time, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's we got 7 days or so. Let's push that campaign 6 days. Nobody run the race. It's terrible.
It's not good.
Yeah, don't do it. Okay, so listener questions. Let's jump in. Actually, Ryan's here in the chat, so we appreciate that very much because we're recording at a weird time, not a normal time here. He says, I was a little late on this last time, but given that taking kids to Disney at any age has value, going back in time, what ages do you remember having the best time taking your kids to Walt Disney World? That's a great question because I don't know if there's an answer to this. You've taken Emily so many times. She was little all the way through. I mean, because I have so much fun with them now, even as, high school kids. What do you tell Ryan in this situation?
That's tough because every trip is like unique and special. I know that sounds like kind of cheesy and corny, but it's true. Like I can look back at any trip, any age for Emily and just find a way to make that like the best trip ever. Right. Like, oh yeah, I remember this, she was tall enough to do that. Or, we let her loose on her own during that. There's always like something different. I feel like that can happen at any age of a trip. But I want to say like, the first trip was so great when she was 3. We didn't take her as that was my first trip too. When she was 3, I was, I don't know, like 20 something. Like that was my first trip too. So that was kind of fun for me. But I'd say like the 6 to 7 age was like some of my favorite trips with her because she'd been enough, she knew how to navigate around the park. She was coming up like with her own personality, like her own strategy, what she wanted to do. And I think one of those trips we just let her lead the way and like do the planning and even making dining. And like, that was awesome. Like to see a little 7-year-old girl just like doing all the planning. Like how awesome is that?
I tend to agree with you. And you said 2 things that kind of really hit home with me. Like I said, any age is a lot of fun. They're easier though when they're infants than when they're toddlers. When they're toddlers, they are a terror, but you can have so much fun with them seeing the characters, but they're a lot of work. Like between, I'd say like 2 to 4. Whew, man, you got to be on your game. That's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yep.
But it kind of, it's like a curve. Like it's easy, then it gets way hard. Then I think at like 5, 6, 7, it starts to get even easier. And then, it goes all over the place. But you mentioned, when I think back with because I almost did it twice, right? It's almost like we had 2 only children because Paige and Mallory are 11 years apart. And we went with Paige before Mallory was around. Like I was new to it, just like you just said. That's exactly what I was thinking is that it was exciting with Paige when she was like 6 because I didn't know my way around. So it was almost like we were discovering all these things together, Pam, Paige, and myself. everything was new. Like we saw Spectre Magic for the first time together. We saw Phantasmic for the first time. So it was all discovery on all of our parts at the same time. So I was fond of that, but also like you said, it was exciting at that age. Like you said, like probably between like 6 to 9 is every trip she would get a little bit taller. And this is going to be the Rock and Roller Coaster trip. She's old enough to ride Rock and Roller Coaster or Everest. And like as we led up to that trip and thought about that trip, because we'd always go in the summer. So the whole, winter from like this time of the year through the spring and, as school started getting ready to get out, we'd talk about getting ready because now you're going to be tall enough to do Everest this year. So we watch videos, we'd, do all that stuff and the anticipation would grow up. Now the trips are fun, but they're just fun in a different way. Mallard like to lounge around the pool and just chill out. And it's fun to reconnect because we don't, she's a high school kid that's always on social media and cheering and all that. So it's a totally different vibe, but I wouldn't say one's better than the other, but I mean, it was more like go and discovery and just the real kind of Disney experience when they're like 6 to 9. I would agree with you there.
Yeah. That's like the peak time. That was the peak time for us, at least, because as Emily's gotten older, she's gotten like, my kid is just obsessed with school, like school is like life for her. So she actually gets really upset at me when I like say, hey, we got a February trip planned. Like, would you pull me out of school again? Like, don't do that, So like, so she's become a little like not grumpier, but like not as like into it. But it's funny though, Mike, like leading up to the trips, like this like makes me like as a proud dad, like going up to the trips, like she's not that into it. I'll bring it up at dinner and like, I don't want to talk about that, blah, blah, blah. And then we get there and like, I see the smile on her face. Like, I know she's having a good time. She might not 100% admit it all the time, but I can see it. And that just makes me feel so good as a parent.
So. And too, as a parent, because we're going to the next question, but like you can see in your 15, 16-year-old, you can still find that 7-year-old back in it when you get there, like you see it when they're walking down Main Street and it's rare. But when you see it, it's awesome. That's why you spend the big bucks. That's why you 100%. Good answers there. Okay, next question. This is a good one for you because you're a popcorn bucket guy. Actually, I say I'm not. And then if you look on the shelf, I got one.
Man, you're loaded with popcorn buckets, man.
I'm kind of turning it's guilt by association.
It's a good decoration, is what it is.
Actually, it's a really good decoration. You're right, because I'm not a big popcorn guy. But Jessica's asking, can you reuse the popcorn buckets from a previous trip? We were there in February last year and returning in a few weeks. I've heard different answers. I don't think
so. I think the technical answer is not to, because most people are buying that popcorn like on like a 5-night vacation or whatever their vacation might be. Then they go home and they're probably not going to come back like a lot of us do like the same year. So I believe your technical answer there, Jessica, is no. You have to buy a new bucket. I think some people do come back with their bucket, and that's tricky with annual pass holders. Cause like, what if you're like a local annual pass holder,
right.
Like that's kind of tricky because if you go like once a week, like you feel like you should get your bucket refilled every time. So that's where I feel like there's two different answers that you're seeing, but technically I would say you'd have to buy a new bucket.
Yeah. Technically I think it is for the length of your trip, but here's the deal. It gets back to like 5 years ago with the refillable resort mugs, right? Disney finally found a way to overcome that with the chip, like they could chip the mug and then problem solved. It runs out after 10 days, 3 days, whatever you pay for. These aren't chipped. So it's, but here's,
and you're still paying too. You still pay for a refill. You know what I mean? So they're still making money on it.
Just discounted. Yeah. But here's what I would say to make yourself feel better. You got to wear the thing around your neck all the way through the airport, on the airplane, and until you get to the Magic Kingdom. That way you feel like you've done like your penance, and then you're entitled to your discount on the second trip.
Or you just buy a new popcorn bucket because there's usually a new seasonal one like every time. So add to your collection.
That's what you do. Yeah, I've seen it, man. You know what? I will say, because you mentioned that, Disney has really stepped up the popcorn bucket game because they're not just popcorn buckets. They're almost like, it's almost like those Funko Pop vinyls, but like a little bit bigger. They're collector's items. They're almost like now that I have this shelf, like I want them just to display. I don't even care about the popcorn.
I love it. Started for me with Disneyland's 60th. So that's when we went out for the first time. It was for the 60th. And they had the balloon, like the Mickey balloon popcorn bucket that said Disneyland 60th. Like, oh, we got to get this. We need something that says the 60th. We bought more stuff that said 60th, but we got to have this. And then it could just, we moved like the next year or two. So like we built our office and we had a bookshelf like, oh, let's just put this on the bookshelf here, in the office. And then on our next trip, I was like, oh, that's another cool popcorn bucket they got here. Hey, let's add on to our office one, and then they have the Christmas ones. Like, hey, let's bring those out at Christmas. And then, the obsession. I'm buying Mr. Toad. I'm buying Figment. I'm buying 50th anniversary ones. Like, I got them all now. And well, not them all because I'm not always there, but whenever there's a specialty one and I'm down there, I try to get it because it's art. It's a decoration for the house. That's the way I see it.
I feel like I got to try to get the Figment one next week if I can, just because like it's a piece of Disney lore. I'm not even a huge Figment fan, but it's just like lore. They'd just be fun to have on the show.
So I have a Figment one. We had a great listener, friend of the show, Beth, who was a local that got me one last year. Shout out to her. But this year's, it says like 40th anniversary, like on the lanyard thing, like it says 40th Epcot 40th on it. Like, dang, now I kind of want that one because it says like Epcot 40th on it, which ironically this year is the 40th of Figment because that was a 1983, not an original attraction. So I don't know. Like, do I really need another one for that? No, I really don't. I'm talking myself out of it, Mike.
If you want one, let me know. Okay. So Adam's here in the chat. So there's that's popcorn bucket talk for Wednesday right there. Adam says, that was a good one. Hey guys, we're going to the world in August and it turns out our friends will be there at the same time. A couple of weeks ago, Mike, you mentioned something about linking reservations such as ours and theirs. Could you mention that again? Yeah. Okay. It's very, very simple. So if you have control of your reservation, if you booked it yourself through the Walt Disney Travel Company, just call them up and you'll need your reservation number and theirs. Now, here's the thing. It's really hard for a travel agent to do this unless the travel agent has both reservations, because obviously you can't modify reservations that are not yours. It's like if I don't book it, I can't. If I book, like say I book Adams, but I don't book his friends, I can't really do this most likely. Every once in a while, an agent will let you do it, a cast member, but they're not supposed to. But what you do is you just ask for what's called a travel with. And what they can do is they take the two confirmation numbers. They need that and they need the last name of the lead guest. And just tell them you're traveling together. You do have to have the same travel dates, same resort, and they'll link it up. You can ask for the travel with confirmation number. There's actually a separate number, and you can just keep that on hand. I mean, you probably won't need it, but they'll give you a travel with number, and what it does, it links it. And so in the system, ideally, you should then have your best shot at connecting or adjoining rooms, either the connecting door or just next door. So it doesn't hurt to do that. So it's just called travel with.
Now, Mike, that's great for like getting like close, as they're saying, at the same resort, try to get those connecting rooms. But will that automatically sync you up as friends on My Disney Experience too, so they can like see each other's plans and all that too?
No. You gotta do all that on My Disney Experience. You got
okay.
Well, that's just the result.
You think that would just? I mean, you would think that would automatically like be a thing, right? Like
that's common sense,
save you a step.
Yeah, but yeah, it makes too much sense. No, it makes too much sense. Let's see here. Jason says he's thinking of running the Disneyland half and then catching a plane that afternoon to Orlando to hop on the Wish the next day. We're all putting the horse in front of the cart here. The cart in front of the horse, however that saying goes. Nobody talking the Disneyland half until after Valentine's Day. We'll come back. We'll reassemble.
I don't even want to do the Disneyland half. I heard that race is really bad.
I heard it's going to be, headwind about 50 miles an hour both ways.
There's a reason why they canceled it. Like that last one, I did the last one and it was just like not fun. So that's why they canceled the race.
I didn't seriously hear the one that had the Santa Ana winds and stuff was blowing all over.
Yeah.
It was the Avengers. That one.
I thought that was may have been a Star Wars one, which is ironically the same weekend this new one is coming back for. But the winds can get kind of wild. I've been fortunate with mine that the winds have been favorable. But
let's talk it. How it was terrible. It was an earthquake. We shouldn't say that. I'm so bad. Jason also requests to have a Michigan Dismeet similar to the Indy Dismeet. He's asking you, Scott, to put this together in the Grand Rapids area. So just so you know.
Dude, Grand Rapids is a solid area, like you'll draw some people in Chicago and just an awesome Midwest meet. Yeah, we should do it.
I mean, the Indy Disney meet was crazy big. It's just a shame that our friends moved. There were a few families that all lived there kind of in the Fishers or, northern Indianapolis suburbs. And we put that together in the Hamilton County Fairgrounds. It was amazing. It got so big, but then everybody decided to move to Florida. And so that kind of got shut down.
This kind of makes me think, do you ever Disney, geek out? I'm probably not you so much because you got the podcast and all that, but when I'm driving in town and I'm on the freeway and I see an annual pass holder, bumper sticker or a DVC, I kind of speed up and like kind of like look at them
I
and
do
like give them like a thumbs up, and they probably have like no idea like, why I'm doing
I
that.
always like, I wish they'd listen to my podcast,
Yeah.
because like you'll go past like the van, right? It'll have
Yeah.
the
Yep.
castle in the back. It'll have the little people with ears on their heads, and then it'll
Yeah.
have the AP magnet or DVC and your exact or DCL, and you're just like, oh my
That's
these
my people.
people. Exactly. They gotta
I
be
almost
listening to the show.
the other day during car line, I was picking up Emily, which is a rare thing my father-in-law normally does, but he had an appointment, and the car in front of me had an annual pass. Now it was like a really old one, but like I almost like just got out the car and knocked on their window and started talking Disney with them.
What's up, AP? What's up, AP?
Hey, what up, AP? They were like, "What are you talking about?"
Be like, you want to go? We can swing by the TTC, and then
Yeah.
once we get in the MK, we can ride the TTA.
But it always makes me jealous because like the talking about like the Michigan meet or whatever. Like, because I always want to talk to like local Disney friends, and I just don't know where they're at. But I know they're there because I see their bumper stickers. But
Right. I'm the exact same way. When I always tell Pam, look. She's always like, calm down. There's a lot of people that own DVC. I'm like, I know, but we're in Missouri.
I know I'm gonna give them a thumbs up, and they're like, "Why is that guy giving me a thumbs up?
I know.
Why is he driving so fast to pass me and giving me a thumbs up?"
Why is he trying to tailgate me? Okay, Vero Mike is in our chat, and he says, are you planning on checking out the Rays spring training while at Princess Run weekend? I think it's going to be crazy with both going on. I was thinking about that because the Rays this year are having, I believe it's half of their spring training games at Walt Disney World at ESPN, where the Braves used to have spring training, because their spring training facility was damaged severely by the hurricanes last fall. So that was one of the things I was planning to do, was to look at the schedule to see if there were going to be games there while we're there over Princess. And if there are, I would be very tempted to try to get tickets to a game, because man, spring training in February, that'd be sweet. I mean, I would try to go.
Yeah, so not too far from Walt Disney World is this town called Lakeland, Florida, which is also known as Tiger Town. And as everyone knows, I'm a Detroit Tiger fan. So I actually looked at their schedule, I want to say the other day, because I thought the same thing. And I know there was a home game. I think it was the day of like the half, which would be like kind of tough, right? To like run the half and drive out to Lakeland. But that's been on my radar too, Mike, because I would love to just see a Tigers game. Like, I mean, yeah, any game would be fine, right? Rays or whoever they're playing. But like, if I can just drive like 40 more minutes and go see a Tigers game, like that's more my speed.
Yeah, my Cardinals are all the way down Jupiter by
Yeah, they're down.
Miami, so that's a
But everyone go see the Tigers. They're not far away. They're like the second closest team to Walt Disney World. So you're down there for spring break. Go visit the Tigers. Give them some love.
I saw they're bringing in the fences at your park.
I know. Like Cabrera would have like hit 500 homers like years ago if that was the case. The Tiger, like even like the old Tiger Stadium, like it was like 440 to center. Like it was just outrageous,
crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, your park was out of the 1920s.
Yeah. But right field was known for the over. Here we go with the sports talk. But right field at the old Tiger Stadium had the overhang. So like, if you're going back for a ball, you're thinking about the catch it, then boom, it catches it in the upper deck. Like it was kind of a cool thing with the overhang back in the day.
I've seen that.
Ballparks just need more characteristics.
They do. No, I agree. And I saw the Orioles are like trying to get out of their lease for Camden Yard. They're like, what are you doing? That is the greatest. I brought all these other parks like ours in Bush, the new one, back in play. That just that old feel. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? Anyway, okay, we gotta get back to the Disney talk. We're getting screamed at here because we can do this all night. Megan's got a question. Hey, Mike, my husband and I are taking a trip in late March, early April, with you as our travel agent, of course. Thanks so much, Megan. This trip is over my birthday weekend, so we're going to try Steakhouse 71. Our plan is to go to the park until the afternoon, come back to our hotel, Coronado, to swim, and then get semi-dressed up for our dinner. I want to watch Enchanted, which we've never seen before. My question is, does anyone have a good idea of the logistics of this? I'm not quite sure how I feel about going back into the park in our nice clothes, but then again, I would like to see Enchanted and maybe ride some attractions before the end of the night. By the way, this is a short trip, only 3 park days. So 2 days and nights at the Magic Kingdom is not an option. Thank you. Megan's down in Dallas, which is, gone through a lot of ice last week. So hopefully you guys are bouncing back from that this week. What would you say about that? Have we ever, I think I've gone to the Magic Kingdom semi-dressed up because of fancy, like I know we've gone to like the Luau, not dressed up. Like I've had my lei still on and my Hawaiian stuff, and
Yeah.
I think I've been in Epcot in a tux.
So, so my question, I love the idea. Like, and she was speaking my language when she said midday break at Coronado, like go to the dig site or one of the quiet
Right.
pools. Like, those are so great. Come back and dress up because that's what it's all about to me. That's fun. That's fun vacation for me. I love like kind of doing a little dress up, going out for dinner. But I see what she means. Like, and how perfect is that to have dinner and then go watch some fireworks in the Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
I love that. So my question for her would be like, what kind of footwear is she wearing? So is she wearing a heel? Because
the perfect two people to
Yeah.
talk about this.
my
right?
answer, regardless, is going to be yes. Go to the Magic Kingdom, watch the fireworks. But if she's wearing a heel, I would recommend maybe taking the monorail over from the Contemporary because you could technically just walk right over there, right? If you're already at the Contemporary Resort, you know, for Steakhouse 71, so you walk over to Magic Kingdom. But if you're wearing uncomfortable shoes, take the monorail, get dropped off in the front, hit up Main Street, and just get your spot for the fireworks. And that's going to be an awesome birthday celebration.
Here's the thing. You're going to have a blast being dressed up in the Magic Kingdom. I think that's
Yes.
going to add to the excitement, especially because you're going at night. You're not being dressed up at 3:00 in the afternoon. That would be miserable. Like, you know, it's going to be a short amount of time. And think about it. I think the other guests, the cast members, everybody kind of gets excited when they see people Disney bounding or, you know, dressed
Yeah.
to the nines, like Dapper Day kind of stuff. It's exciting. And you know what? We've talked about this many times, you and I. Like when you go for that, say, you know, you go to the Magic Kingdom and you roll in at like 8:00 and it closes at 11. You know, you only have 3 hours. You want to watch the fireworks. So then, you know, okay, now I got like 90 good minutes. And it becomes almost like a challenge. Like, you're just like, how many attractions can I get in? What favorites can I do? Which order will I? Oh my gosh, I'm going past this one. It's only a 5-minute wait. Let's do it. Let's just jump on. Those are the best nights. And I would savor that. I would totally go after it.
Yeah, for sure. We did that on my 30th birthday. We had dinner at California Grill and we went back into the park. We rode Splash Mountain, my favorite. My girls are in their dresses and their nice shoes. I got like a nice tucked in shirt and all that. And we got wet. They're like, "We love you, Scott, and we know it's your favorite ride. We love you. That's why we're doing it." And then we pull in. The guy's like, "Hey, do you all want to ride again?" And I was like, "Yes." And man, I never hear the end of that. Like, they were okay doing it once, getting wet, but not twice. But there was something like about that vibe, just like being dressed up. And you see it more at Disneyland for sure, right? Just because that's kind of the culture there. You got Club 33, so a lot of people dress up to go to Club 33. There's real no signature restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, so you don't really see it as much there. But do it up, like Mike said, like cast members are going to get into that vibe. Guests are going to get into that vibe. They're going to look at you and think, "Who's that movie star? I don't know who that person is," and it's going to be awesome.
All right, let's get this question from Chad. He says, upcoming trip with dogs. Mike, this could be a question for the show if you like. So here it is. My family's heading to Disney World next month in mid-March, and we're taking our dogs for the first time. We'll be driving from Iowa to Disney, about 19 hours total. If you have any tips for taking pets, I would love to hear them. If not, and you'd like me to report back on some ideas that we discovered, I'd be happy to do that as well. Thanks again for all your help in the podcast, Chad. I don't have many tips because we've never taken a dog anywhere. We just kind of Paige inherited a job in Chicago and we inherited a dog, which I love. And she's never getting Riley back, just for the record. It is not happening. That dog is not leaving this premises. That's my bud. But we're not taking her to Walt Disney World either. Scott, I know you have a dog. You have why was I saying Fester?
Oliver.
Why was Fester in my back?
Did I ever share the name? How his name was Oliver?
I don't know.
Just real quick, like, so we pick up our new dog. Emily's pretty young, and we're like driving home. Like, what do we name him? What do we name him? Like, me and Liz keep going back. Like, I say Harrison because I'm a big Beatles fan, and George Harrison is my favorite. And she's like, "No, I don't know about that." Then Emily's like, "Guys, he's all of our pets. We need to all say this." And the way she said it sounded like Oliver. Boom, that's how he got his name.
That's good.
It's not because there's an Oliver Disney character. It's because the way Emily said all of our. But anyway, I've never taken our dog. We always fly down, and like, I would be nervous like taking our pet to fly. So I see like he's driving from Iowa, Chad is, and that's a crazy drive. But my question would be, is he staying on site? Is he staying like at the yacht club or whatever? Because I know I've been barked at the yacht club early in the morning, like going for a run. Yeah. But there's a great section over there, right, for the dogs to like do their business, hang out, get some steps in, and walk around. So I know like
the resorts that have like that are pet friendly have some really great accommodating areas. And there's also the best friends pet area, which I know I have a friend that dropped their dog off there. Like they were really great. You could like check in and call. There was like videos that you can see. Like it's kind of like it's awesome, like pet hotel. Like you can do it up. It's kind of like, well, do you want to go value and just do the basic package, or do you want to go deluxe and get like the spa treatment for your dog while they're in there and all that good stuff? So I'm not sure what Chad is thinking for where the dog is going to be, but I don't know about you, Mike. I think this would be a great trip report to hear how this all goes down.
I agree. And the thing was, I put this out there because I know a lot of our listeners have taken their dogs to Walt Disney World. So if you have any tips, please let me know. Mike at BeOurGuestPodcast.com will follow up next week with those tips so we can help Chad and anybody else in this situation, because the best way to learn this, I'm sure, like when you took your dog, you learned a lot. I know that you do, there are, like you said, Yacht Club, Art of Animation, I believe Riverside's pet friendly. And when you have a pet, they will give you like a welcome packet at check-in. It's like a doggy pad. I forget what, I can't remember what's in the little welcome pack, but it's like a little, kit for your dog so they have a comfortable stay.
That's sweet.
So
I just couldn't take my dog because he would just bark all day while we were gone, because that's what he does here. So
yeah, I'm just not taking Riley. Like she's staying here. I'm on vacation, right? I mean, she's on vacation, but we're not here. Like we take her to a place like it was called the Yuppie Puppy. I mean, come on now, the Yuppie Puppy. She was probably doing better than me.
Oliver gets to hang out with the grandparents, man. That's vacation right there. Like he gets all these extra snacks and more walks. Like it's like living the life.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Next question says, cruise photo opportunities. Hello, BOGP team. This is Laura from Tyler, Texas, longtime listener and first time to email. My husband and myself will be sailing the Disney Fantasy May 13th on a 7-night cruise. This is our very first cruise, and we're so excited. My question: is the photo package worth the price on cruises? When we visit Walt Disney World, we always get Memory Maker, and it feels like a great value. But the price for the photo packages on a cruise is different than Memory Maker. So have you ever gotten the package on the Disney cruises? Thank you for the wonderful and positive podcasts that help feed our Disney fandom. You are a favorite part of our week, Laura and Anthony Anderson. First of all, thank you for the kind words, and thanks for taking the time to listen. Seriously, everybody that writes in, everybody that takes the time to listen, we love doing these shows, and it is just amazing. And you're gonna first cruise. I'm just telling you what, keep that. You're gonna have to go in second and third and fourth, because cruises in the Fantasy is so fun. You're gonna have so much fun in the tube. Oh, you're gonna have so much fun in the restaurants. The shows are amazing, and just a 7-night Caribbean cruise right now. Oh, you're so lucky. Okay, back to talking about your question. I have never, and I've sailed, I think, 25 times at this point. I have never purchased the photo package because to me, it is very expensive. I don't know how you feel. Have you?
I never have. And for the same reason, it's very expensive. But if there was ever a time, Michael, for someone to buy the package, we're talking a 7-night sailing on the Fantasy, which is my favorite ship, like first time cruising, like that could be a good time to do it, right? And like what you would have to do though, like if I did this, I would be scheduling all sorts of photo shoots, like kind of like what you do at Walt Disney World. Like I go to every PhotoPass photographer when we used to have to pay for, well, we still pay for the Memory Maker now, but when it was like brand new and you're like, oh, I got to take advantage of all this stuff. Like that's how I feel on the cruise. Like I do all these character meet and greets. And Mike, if I recall, like you can schedule just like plain old like photo shoots with like an awesome backdrop, right? To do family photos, which I think is pretty awesome.
I don't think you schedule them. I think they just have them outside of dinner on the formal nights. Like they have I mean, ironically enough, sometimes they'll have like the Titanic stairs, like you can stand in front of. Like you just have to wait there. Like what's going? And you know what? On our honeymoon, we sailed on with Royal Caribbean. And it was the biggest cruise ship in the world at the time. It was Independence of the Seas, or no, it was Freedom of the Seas. And it was the third sailing of the largest ship in the world at the time. And we got our picture taken in front of the staircase on the Titanic. I was like, Pam, if this is just asking us to sink, I don't know what is. But no, they do that on the cruise lines. Like during the formal nights, you'll have 2 on a 7-night sailing. Yeah, it's like going to, I don't know, I want to say like Olin Mills, but that dates me because that was like the place you went to get formal shots when I was a kid.
But it is pricey though. Like the price point is kind of up there. It gives me shock every time because I always want to do it, right? Because the photos are so nice and you can like kind of get them printed. I actually bought one I actually bought a single photo on our last cruise because like I just loved it. It was like with the Beauty and the Beast rose, we're all kind of dressed up, and I felt like crazy because I think it was like $30 for one print. Like it's outrageous, but
it is.
But if you do the package, you might be able to get some better value out of it. So I guess you just got to think, how many photos do you think you're going to take it for real? But I will say the quality is like really nice, and they're all over that ship, which is really good. But tough call.
Well, for the people that don't know, like, Memory Maker is like all your pictures, but typically with the cruise, it's like a package of like 10 photos, like,
right. You do have to narrow it down.
Like you'll buy like a package of 10 pictures. You'll buy like a package of 20. Now they do have a package, I believe now, that's like all of your photos digitally. Like basically, I think they give you like a thumb drive or something. Or some kind of, or maybe.
Well, so that's how I did mine. I bought mine digitally after the cruise. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, I wonder if that photo is still out there, and it was. So that's a cool thing too. You can kind of go back and see your photos, but they usually cost more that way too if you're not like on the ship buying them. But what they do is they just take it to a website basically, and you just download it to get the digital copy, which was nice. Like it turned out really well.
Okay, here's another thing. So we have one more question, then we got to get out of here. But let me ask you this, because we sailed back in these days too. Back before digital was kind of first, because you still remember, right, when they used to print out the pictures every night and put them on like walk through the photo area and like
shutters, you'd walk through and the photos, you would get your hands on them.
Like they're real pictures, and they print them out there. Like I think it was like that was psychological, right? Because like I hated to because you walk through and you'd see like a pretty good picture of your family, or like your kid. Like I'd see a picture of. They'd always go like on Castaway Key, right? And get a picture of like Paige and Mallory in the water, with like a floaty or something. And I'm like, oh, that's a cute picture. And like, if you don't buy it, it's getting thrown away.
It's getting thrown away. It drove me nuts.
Psychological games with you. Like, am I going to let them throw that picture away? No, they want me to pay $20 for that picture. It was totally like pulling.
You almost like on like the day you like disembark, like you almost want to bargain with them. Like, all right, I'll give you 50% for that photo. $5. Here it is.
I know, totally. You're just gonna throw it away.
I know, because you wasted all the ink and the materials. Like, it broke my heart. Because sometimes you'd have like 25 photos in the because you pull out like a photo album basically, because everyone had their own photo album assigned to them. I kind of missed that though, because it was kind of fun. You go in there, you open up the album. Now it's like you scan your key to the world card or whatever, and then it pops up on a screen. I kind of missed that old way though.
It was so wasteful, but I played psychological. I just wonder if anybody, I brought that up because I wonder if other people that sailed back then had the same, if it messed with your mind in your heart. Like, I can't let them throw away that picture of Paige and Mallory. Like, I got to save it. Like, no, I don't have to save it. I'll need to pay $20. I have 1,000 pictures of them. I took my camera. I took the picture right next to the guy. Anyway, okay.
Hopefully they threw out the photo of you and me like after tequila though. That went sailing.
But some live on. That's the only thing I got to say on Google Photos. Okay, last question. Elizabeth says, "Hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott." Oh, and she put and Riley. Oh, Riley's not in the studio right now, but I'll tell you said hello. I've been listening to the podcast for years, and you've helped me get through many miles on the road and treadmill. I've had an upcoming trip in a standard room at the Polynesian that you helped me with. So thanks a lot, Elizabeth. With my husband, mom, and 1.5-year-old twins. Oh man, did I mention how hard it is with toddlers? Times 2. Let's see. You've helped me put in a room request for 2 pack-and-plays for the babies to sleep in. Is it safe to assume we will get them, or is there a chance we will have to figure out another plan upon arrival? Yeah, I've never heard anybody not getting. They do say with pack-and-plays they're by request only, but I've never had a guest come back, and I've been doing this for 12 years, that my kid had to sleep on the bed or the floor. So I think you're okay. I saw on the Disney website that cribs are sometimes available, but they are very limited. And there also seems to be third-party companies that you can rent cribs from. I also worry there won't be enough space for the 2 cribs or pack and plays. We could consider another room type or resort if it would be significantly better option, but prefer to stay at the Polynesian. Do you have any advice for the best approach for the twins' sleeping arrangement? The Polynesian rooms are quite big, and I think you're going to be fine, even with the 2 pack and plays, because pack and plays don't take up that much space. At least they didn't when Mallory was little. Just because, once they get up in the morning, you can chuck one of them off to the side. I mean, Scott, I would say you're fine.
Yeah, and those are, when I think about like size of rooms, I think of like those original resorts, like the Contemporary and the Polynesian. Those typically are going to have the bigger square footage for your standard rooms. So if there's any room that's going to, if you're sticking with one standard room size, like the Polynesian is going to be the one that you want anyway. I agree with you though, Mike. I don't know what the dimensions of pack and plays are like these days, or what Disney's look like, but I'm sure it happens quite often where they're having two of them, right? Because like you got twins. I'm sure it's a common thing, right? Where people are traveling in Walt Disney World, they got twins or they got two young ones. They need two pack and plays, and I never heard of anyone like ever having an issue or complaining about the size of that. So I think you're going to be just fine, Elizabeth.
Again, we're talking about twin babies here, and we're talking about footwear, formal footwear on the show. So it's a great show for Pam and Ricky to be bailing on us. I mean, what's going on here? Okay, and she has one question. Also, do you have any advice on renting/bringing a double stroller versus two single strollers, or both? This is me, and again, I didn't have twins, thank God. I have twin nephews, so I've been able to see twins from a distance. Now they were boys. They were just wild, like loud, and they broke stuff. Like they were different than girls. They were just like they would every time they grabbed something, they had to like shake it, like and like try to like stretch everything. Like, no, that's gonna break. Like stop. Like every time they come home, like I'm on edge, now they're in high school, but when they used to, it was like, what are they gonna break this time? Because it was just like two of them. Like I couldn't, if I went after one, the other one would take off. Anyway, thank God damn two. So I've talked about this a few times on the show. The best investment we ever made when Mallory was a baby was we got a McLaren, and it was expensive. It was a McLaren umbrella stroller. It was like $200. I almost had a heart attack when I paid $200 for an umbrella stroller because you can buy them at Target for like 20. But I'll tell you what, we used this thing for like 7 years, and it rolled just like it was on, like on rails. It was light as a feather, and it never broke down. It stayed perfect shape. We gave it away. It's still going, I think, as one of Pam's friends has it. And it could recline all the way back so she could sleep. It had a cover so we could cover it up if it rained. We took it to Walt Disney World every time. I mean, and it just saved us so many times. And even as she got a little bit older and didn't necessarily need it, we'd take it into the park, leave it at the front of the park. And then later on in the day, as she got tired, if we needed it, we just go up to the front of the park, grab it, and just use it for the last couple hours of the day just to have it. So she didn't have to walk. She had a place to sit. I would probably go with two strollers because that way maybe your mom could push one and you could push one, and you get, I think it'd be easier to maneuver two than a double. Because I don't know, like there's going to be tight spaces. How would you go? I would go two, I think, two umbrella strollers.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the right guy for that because I've never pushed a double stroller. Like I have no idea.
You like a semi truck or like a little pickup truck going down Main Street. I'll take the pickup.
But we did the same thing. We got an umbrella stroller for our first trip, and man, we used that till like Emily was like 7. Like we got a few years out of it. Like it was really awesome. And sometimes though, like I like having the stroller just to like have something to hold on to when I'm walking too. So that's why I like the idea of having two of them. Like then two of you can like kind of use that just for guidance. Like I don't know, like I would always want to be the one pushing the stroller because I felt like I could like maneuver better, like calm people out of my way and like whatever. And maybe with a double stroller that's easier because like you said, you got the semi truck. But I would do two strollers. I think that would be the best. And I do recommend just finding an umbrella stroller and taking it down yourself because who knows, you might be wanting to keep those for future Disney trips to come.
Right. The funniest thing is, because that first trip after you stop taking the stroller, like you're like, what do I do with all this stuff?
All the stuff. Yeah. I didn't know what to do anymore.
Like in the bottom of the stroller, like just stuffed it. I mean, and then also we didn't have a stroller. So then we became the backpack people, right? Because then we had the big backpacks. Yeah. Now I'm just learning I don't take anything in. I take like an external battery in my phone, and that's it. I don't schlep it all around. You can buy.
I mean, the strollers were nice for just stuffing stuff in there, right? It was so good. And then like we always bought a balloon though back then so that we could remember where our stroller was. We'd always look for the balloon, even though lots of similar balloons flying.
I was gonna say nobody else did that. Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's questions for today. So thanks for the great questions. You have a question, we want to answer it next week. So send that to Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get that on the show here right away for you. Always, don't forget, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. The agents are standing by right now. Actually, they've just gone through amazing training. Actually, they're doing it right now down at Walt Disney World. We're touring all the monorail resorts to get the latest views and information on the Contemporary, the Wilderness Lodge, Polynesian, the Grand Floridian. We're going around to all the other resorts too, but I think that's what we're doing today. Anyway, and they've just sailed the Disney Wish, a lot of the agents. So we are getting you ready to have an amazing vacation. Work with the agents at the Magic for Less. Cost you nothing extra. We'll get you the best deal every time. So just swing by the website, themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That really does help us out. If you're going to get one of those McLaren strollers, that's where to go. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who allow us to put these shows out each and every week. We couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. We'd love to have you come join us this week. Come on over. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Scott a follow on the social media. He's at Epscott, EPSCOT. He's kind of like those buses that you see floating around Walt Disney World every time I see him. What are those buses called, Scott? They're called it's not Epscott, it's Epscott.
Oh yeah, Escott or something. Escott. Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, there's Scott's bus.
Yeah,
He's
it's my bus.
Yeah, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. I'm at Walt Disney World right now. So give me a follow. I'll be posting all kinds of information on Instagram and Twitter. And this Sunday night, this Sunday night, we will not have a live call-in show because it's Super Bowl Sunday. So we'll be watching a little football, and you probably be watching football, or if you're not into football, you'll at least be watching the commercials or the halftime show or what have you. Or who knows? Maybe you'll just be chilling. But
Or be thinking about your next Walt Disney World vacation that you want to book with your travel.
You could do that. That'd be awesome. But I probably won't be answering emails at night. So just no. Okay. So we're going to get out of here, but we'll be back on Friday. And Friday, we have a brand new concept for the Be Our Guest podcast. Could be awesome, but will probably fail miserably. But we're going to give it a try. I mean, after 2,200 shows, you got to try new stuff every once in a while. So stand by for that. It's going to be fun. I mean, we're going to have a good time. Whether you enjoy it, that's up to you. We'll see. But I guarantee you, Scott and I are going to have fun with this show. So until we get back together again, for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You crack me up, like, because I mean I got nothing going on tonight, so but you're just like, we're just gonna do 30 minutes.
I know.
It's fun though. I mean, you started getting into it. It's fun.
I got tons of stuff to do. I had to download this new software, so now I've kind of figured it out a little. I had to subscribe finally to Adobe Audition.
Yeah. There's a question out there. Have either of you stayed at every Disney World resort?
Contemporary, and I've not stayed at the cabins.
I am close. So the cabins and Grand Floridian. Actually, I never stayed at French Quarter.
Really?
No, and I'm thinking about moving my princess to French Quarter. But the problem with French Quarter is never a discount.
I know, because they're so small, they don't need it. It's always full. 2235 edited. 44. I got to figure out how to save all these defaults.
Because my new thing, Mike, is after a race, like I love going to French Quarter and getting beignets.
I know, dude. You're killing.
That's my snack now for after race.
I'm at Riverside this time when I'm down next week, so you know I'm going over getting a beignet. Because
You better. I'm gonna be so disappointed.
I am. Okay, how do I close this?
What they need you to be able to do is like mobile order those, though.
You can't.
No.
You know what? The French Quarter has a really, really good breakfast sandwich, though, too. It's like
Yeah.
they used to. It's called like the honey chicken or the maple chicken biscuit or
Yeah.
something.
Well, that's what we would do. We would order breakfast, mobile order, and then
You take the.
but then one of us would have to wait in the line. And the problem is the beignets come out quick. It's just everyone's ordering like a coffee drink or whatever, you know, which is fine. But like that, like just slows the line down, you know. But then if you're just getting beignets, though, it comes out really quick.
Beignets are so good. Okay, so this is going to be 2237.
But no, I'll be doing the Grand Floridian finally this summer. It's a hard one to get on DBC points.
And you'll be living the life. You'll be right there.
Grand Floridian, Wish, then Grand Floridian again.
I tell you better than that. Hang on, let me
Did
grab
not, did not do a theme park view room. Those are a lot of points.
I can't even imagine how many points it has to be. Oh.
I do like those new PhotoPass outfits too.
Yeah, I saw that Kim had those on.
Reminds me of the Seattle Seahawk uniform.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly. Beast mode. Oh, that soda's not cold.
There's another thing too. So Mardi Gras, like I don't know if you would think like French Quarter and Riverside would do something during Mardi Gras. I don't think they really do though.
I think French Quarter might. I think
Okay.
they might have.
If anyone did, it would be French Quarter.
I think they have like a little parade, but I think it's just like their workers. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Well, I'll tell you, French Quarter's like staff is awesome.
They
That's
are.
another reason.
Exactly.
That's another reason I like to go over there after the half marathon because they're out there like congratulating all the runners, all crazy. They give you beads as you show up. Like French Quarter is like an awesome resort. I can't believe I never stayed there, but their staff is awesome.
Let's lead off with that because I can't believe I forgot that. Okay, we'll talk because I don't know when Mardi Gras starts.
I
Is
think
it-
it's
is
gonna
it
be
actually-
during,
is
it
it
might be
actually
during
on?
Princess.
Is it? Oh wait, there it is, right there. It's the 21st. Is it on a
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Yeah, and I
Ash-
fly down 2 days later for Princess,
Yeah, me too. I'm there.
and I'll be at Riverside. So I don't know. We might be out there at the same time actually.
So I'm there Thursday. I go home Sunday night. Sunday.
Okay.
No, Sunday at 7, I think. I'm actually flying home the day of the half. I never do that, but
I thought about doing it, but I just like Emily wasn't there in January, and like it'd be and no, you know how the Run Disney weekends are. Like you're never in the park. That's why I'm
Yep.
thinking about buying the after hours that one night. Like it'd just be fun to like have an old school like park day with the three of us, you know. So we're gonna stay another night.
okay, yeah. So we'll talk about that. It's 21st.
Yeah. So
Actually, it's the day after President's Day.
that's kind of wild. Oh, dude. Like February, that's when it's gonna start getting nuts. You're gonna have President's Week, and
Oh,
then
That's all.
Mardi
We'll
Gras?
think. It's President's Day, Mardi Gras, Ash Wednesday. Then everybody gets there for Princess the next day.
yeah. So Jessica, like we might see you because we're gonna be in that same general area.
Watch out for LSU fans.
I have a wait list. I have a wait list booked for Old Key West. I doubt if it's gonna come through though.
For Princess.
Yeah. It won't come through.
Oh
That's
wait, I
fine.
got to pull that out. That wheel of topics. I wonder if they change because I just closed the window. Let me see.
Oh, maybe it will.
Start. I think they are. No, I think they're the same. They look pretty much the same. Okay. All right. Wait, let me share this just so I can have it ready. Screen. Topic wheel. Share.
So today is I don't think I told you. Today, me and Elizabeth are an official adult. It was our first date 18 years ago today on Groundhog Day. Yeah.
Congratulations.
18 years. Yeah. So I took her out to Olive Garden because like I thought I was a baller. I mean, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you out to Olive Garden. You're Italian, and
Nice.
so every year, because Leonardo is her last name. So every year that we go to Olive Garden, we did not today though. She made well, she's going out to dinner with her friend at like a really nice Italian restaurant tomorrow. So I was like, well, that'd be kind of silly for us to go to Olive Garden. But ironically, she made lasagna tonight. But
Hey, that's better. That's better.
it was good. So Elizabeth, Scott and Beth can vote.
So Pam and I went on our first date in 2000. It's bad. 2001 or 2002. It was her 30th birthday.
So you guys can drink.
I asked her on her 30th birthday. So her 50th birthday is next month. So it'll be
Yeah.
almost 20 years. Wow.
You can almost drink.
Almost.
So you're about the same time. So
Yeah.
ours was 2005, obviously.
Yeah, because
I didn't even know it was Groundhog Day until like her mom told us like later that year, like, oh, like, or like the next year, like, so your guys is like date anniversary is coming up. I'm like, what? Like, how do you know that? I don't even know what it is. She's like, it was easy to remember because it was Groundhog Day.
Oh, it is.
So I always joke like because like the movie, I'm like I've been on the greatest date of my life is what I always say to her.
I've never seen that movie. I mean,
Oh really?
I've seen the meme. You know, I don't watch movies hardly ever. I should, but I've seen the meme of like Bill Murray. You know, it's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's a funny movie.
I gotta watch it. Yeah,
And we always say like we're gonna go to Puxatawny and see the groundhog for our like
yeah, that'd be cool.
it's not like our wedding anniversary, but you know what I mean. It's like an anniversary in a way.
I watched that
So-
this morning on the treadmill as I was walking. That's the dumbest thing. Dude,
Yeah.
there's so many guys dressed up in tuxedos. Like it's not.
I know. So what's today? A Thursday? Next year is there a leap year? Like maybe we'll go for our 20th because it'll be like a Sunday or a Monday. Maybe if it's like a Sunday, we can go over the weekend or something. That'd be
Is
kind
it-
of neat.
Is it by anything? Like or is it like it's probably?
I don't know. So like I was hoping it would be close to the Foresters and we could just like hang out with them like
I
over
bet
the
you it's like
weekend
right
or
in the middle of the
something.
state, like by nothing. Because I mean, if that's their excitement, right?
It's like,
looking at a
is
Groundhog,
Puxatawny like the name of the city?
I would imagine. Yeah, probably. I would guess. Because today on the
Yeah.
news it said Puxatawny, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so hold on.
Tom
How
Hanks
far am I?
spell it.
How far? I know we need to record the episode, but like, how far am I from here?
Did you see the
I'm sick.
Canadian groundhog died like right before they pulled
Oh,
him out of the
no.
water? Yeah, or out of the burrow.
It is a 6 hour and 6 minute drive, 400 miles from me.
I don't know about that, man.
Dude, it's like
Okay.
kind of like in the middle.
I told you, it's right.
I mean,
in
it's huge. So I guess it's still like it's on the eastern side, but it's like north of Pittsburgh.
It's probably nothing,
I
man.
mean, western. I meant western PA, but north of I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, if their excitement's putting on a tuxedo and looking at a groundhog, there's probably not a lot going on.
No, but Elizabeth and I can make it fun. We'll do
could.
something.
You totally
We
could. I'm just saying though, it's probably not a hot spot. Okay.
And it's cold. It's like that's the
Oh,
thing. It's always
God,
gonna
yeah.
be freezing cold.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, they probably don't have a MLB team on Puxatawny. They probably don't have They probably don't have rookie ball.
No.
All right.
All right. Yeah,
This is
here we
gonna
go.
be-
Sorry, I got
It's
so
gonna be
distracted.
so bad, but I just want to try it because I heard it. I listened to the show called the St. Louis Chat Show. They did this, and it was so dumb. I was like, I gotta do this with Scott.
I was watching this poker tournament, this big tournament that's happening right now, like in the Bahamas and Nassau actually. And I thought of you because your boy Boston Rob.
Yeah, I saw him
Rob was
getting on the
playing.
plane to go to that. I saw
him. I've been like live streaming it while I've been working, and I saw him he busted out the other day, short of the money. He did not make any money.
He's pretty good though. I
Probably
think at poker
yeah.
though. I've seen him like
Hmm?
he's pretty good at it. Like,
Is he?
yeah, I've seen he's won.
Yeah, I've seen him like pop up. Like, I mean, this is like a $25,000 buy-in. So I mean, this is like a baller event.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't
top
know.
prize
I
is
don't-
like 4.1 million.
I've seen him win stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's like big time or whatever. He could be just
Yeah.
sort of lying, but there's a timer on this thing, so I don't know if like you time out or what. But we'll see. I'll just restart it if it does. Okay,
All right. Whew, here we go.
it's
All
gonna
right.
be so bad. Okay.
I'm so nervous. I don't think there's many people watching. I haven't seen a whole lot of comments, so we'll see.
No, because I didn't even put it on Twitter. Here, I'm gonna put it on Twitter. Yeah, let me just put it on Twitter. Why not? Let's just because it's like prime time right now too.
I'll retweet it too.
Oh, it's
Even though
a
we probably
great
have the same followers though.
Watch. This podcast is live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Come join us for the wheel of WDW topics. Oops. Okay, tweet. I even put breaking, so that'll get all kinds of people fired up.
Oh, there it is.
Breaking.
Well, I'm gonna say, watch us make fools of ourselves.
Breaking. Do. Okay, where's the level? 33 works. All right, here we go.
Like Club 33.
2237. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2237 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and welcome to the first hour of the Super Bowl pregame show. That's right. It starts right now on a Thursday night or Friday morning, getting you ready for every single angle of the big game happening Sunday night. Just kidding. No, we're not doing that. We are talking Disney, and we're going to have a good time with a brand new concept on the show. Plus, one more listener question that somehow slipped between the cracks on Wednesday's show, and it's timely, especially for LSU fans. So joining me today, we're going to have a good time. My good buddy up in Michigan, Scotty G. Scott, happy Friday. 48 hours to the big game. Who you got?
48 hours to the big game. And you know what? My team has never been remotely close to the big game. But let me tell you, like so how I see and sorry to go all sports here early on, Mike, but how I see the championship Sunday in the NFL is very similar to the Final Four in basketball. Like you play the semi games, that's normally going to be the better day than the actual championship game. And I've seen Michigan State playing a bunch of those. We've won some of those. And I'll tell you, the next day like takes forever, right? It's just like a 1 day window. Like the game, the Final Four starts on Saturday, then the championship is Saturday, it's Monday, so you have Sunday off. And that is like the longest day ever. Like all the hype, all the anticipation, the Monday night. I can't imagine what it's like if your team is in the Super Bowl and you have to wait 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like and in a way, it's kind of like the college football playoff because like you have to wait like a month for that. Like, I mean, that's just torture in its own sense. But for the Super Bowl, the 2 week build up, everyone's making all these storylines. Like, let's just get the game played. And we're almost there, Mike. And I'm taking the Eagles for Moose.
There you go. I'm going Chiefs just because they're a Missouri team. And I really don't have a dog in the race, but I'll go Chiefs. But yeah, it's one of those things like by this point, whether you're a football fan or not, you know how many kids the third string wide receiver on the Eagles has, like the ex-girlfriend of the guy on the practice squad, the right tackle for the Chiefs. It's nuts. I mean, I can't imagine like going through this as a player, how many questions you get asked because you probably just want to play football, that'd be nuts.
The craziest storyline, because we're recording this a little earlier by now, though, is going to be that Tom Brady is Jalen Hurts' backup. He came back, he canceled his retirement again. He's Jalen Hurts' backup, and he's going to like break his leg on the sideline so that Brady can come in and be the hero. So Brady is going to come out of retirement again to play in the Super Bowl.
That's the best comment of the year. That's right. He came out of retirement again. It didn't last long again. Okay, so today we're going to hit one more question, and it was from Jessica on Wednesday show. Somehow we just missed it in the live chat. We feel terrible because it was a great question. She's heading down to French Quarter here very soon. I believe it's over Princess half marathon weekend, which is holy cow. It's like next week at this point. She wanted to know if French Quarter does anything for Mardi Gras. And we were kind of discussing this off the air as we got ready for this show. And to my knowledge, I think they do. Maybe this is another fever dream that I've had, but I thought they do some kind of like a little parade through French Quarter, but I think it's more like cast members. And I think they pull out a few characters, but it's not a big deal. It's not meant to bring people over to French Quarter, but it's more just like in and out of the streets or right along the Sassagoula River of basically employees of French Quarter, and they throw beads out, and kind of just, play some music and stuff like it. It's not a big deal, but you mentioned how French Quarter seems to, and you've also in the past mentioned Saratoga Springs, that for some reason, those two resorts really kind of do it up when it comes to celebrating events around the resort.
Yeah, French Quarter is so good for that. From a Run Disney perspective, anytime you get off that bus or go through the main lobby, they're like hooting and hollering. They have like this whole table set up. They're throwing you beads. They got Mickey gloves out, photo opportunities. Like it is a riot. And like that's how it always is every time I'm at French Quarter. Like they just had this like vibe, like the cast, like who's ever like the general manager of like that resort, like I think does a really good job like boosting that cast up, doing fun engagement things like with guests. Because they used to have like that run too. That was a blast. Remember when the resorts used to have those runs like before COVID?
Yeah, those were really hitting their stride right as COVID hit.
I know, and I was doing all of them. Like I did the pineapple dash at the Polynesian. I did that with Mallory actually, and then we did one at Saratoga. And my favorite one was at the Port Orleans resorts because it was like the beignet dash. Like you got like a beignet after doing it. It was so awesome. But yeah, I don't think it's anything like I don't think it's anything official. It's like more like an unofficial thing that might just happen while you're at the resort, like no set time or anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a little celebration happening over at French Quarter.
I think we've talked about maybe, and we're just guessing here because we don't know. We've never been cast members. We don't work down there. But I wonder if every resort is given a certain budget that's kind of like a slush fund, this is just a little money to use as you wish to make your resort awesome or to make your resort better. And, I think that maybe some resort managers or teams, I'm sure it's like a team, decide to make it more guest facing with events, or like special things, because like you say, you see some of these things at other places more than others. And I just wonder if it's like a philosophical thing for those hotel managers more than like a larger company thing. It is kind of interesting. I don't know.
That should be another ask a cast member question. Like that show we did with Wade. Like I want to know, like, what's the resort budget for fun games like this? But yeah, like it could vary on resort, but and maybe I'm just conscious of it, but I always seem to see it when I'm at French Quarter, and which I think is great. Like I want more of that stuff. But yeah. So Jessica, though, like I think you should see some action over there. I'm gonna be over at Riverside across the way. So hopefully we'll bump into each other that week. Could be awesome.
Absolutely. And I'll be coming over for some beignets for sure. So watch for me. And you can play, speaking of fun games, you could play a really fun game this coming week. You could play Mardi Gras Reveler or LSU fan or both. Because the Venn diagram, there's a lot of in the center there, right there.
Our first trip to Walt Disney World, it was March 8th and it was like Mardi Gras. And I had no idea like that was happening and what the timing was. And I had no idea that the whole city of New Orleans comes over to actually the whole state of Louisiana basically comes over. And I was talking to someone on that trip and he was just saying like, yeah, because everyone like wants to come here on vacation. So all the locals just leave. It's basically what the strategy is. And I thought that was interesting. That makes sense.
Bobby Boucher and all of his friends. All right. So today we are going to play a new game. Speaking of games, and we're going to call this the Wheel of Walt Disney World Topics. So again, having spent a lot of my life in an elementary school classroom and trying to get kids to write and to have, fun conversations in my class for public speaking and all kinds of topics, I've had to come up with ways to come up with writing prompts and things like that. So I came across this site because my wife is still a teacher, and we're going to use the site to play a game today. And we're going to add at Walt Disney World on the end, and we're going to get some topics. It's a random wheel. So if you want to play this with your family, it is super simple. Just Google Wheel of Topics and you'll get this wheel. It looks like Wheel of Fortune. And you can play right along and just throw, you could say at Disneyland, on Disney Cruise Line, what have you, and just play the game. And, and you can share some memories. So we're going to spin the wheel for the first time here. And hopefully we won't get the one that says, who's your favorite MMA fighter? That is, it's like one that probably wouldn't work well for us, but let's see here. Okay, so here's one that we're going to go with first. So I'm going to I'll let Scott answer first, and we'll kind of ping pong back and forth. Do you have any family traditions at Walt Disney World? If so, what are they? All right, so let's get to Scott here. So Scott, family traditions for Walt Disney World. This is going to be tough because you're right on the spot. We don't have a lot of time to think about this.
No time to think about it. I'll say a newer family tradition. Let's start with something new and recent because that's easy to remember. Speaking of French Quarter, is getting beignets after a Run Disney event. That is like my new tradition. Like you run a Walt Disney World, like a Run Disney race. How do you celebrate that race? You go get some beignets, take a photo with their medal, like wrapped around the beignets. That's a new tradition for us. That's kind of started, but like a legit tradition. Like, so say it's like not a Run Disney weekend. Like we're actually doing like a week long, like 5-day vacation or whatnot. The first park we always go to is Epcot. It's what we did on our first trip. It was only planned that way because we had a dinner reservation at Tutto Italia. So we had to go to Epcot. And ever since then, that's just been our thing. Like we started our trip at Epcot. I know a lot of people probably start at Magic Kingdom, but for the gardeners, we just always love to go to Epcot first.
So those are good traditions, by the way. Okay, so a couple for us. Mallory, for like the last 5 or 6 trips, she's always had to get the pop. We talked about this on Wednesday, the refillable popcorn bucket, but it's not the fancy, like, the Mickey Mouse or the balloon or anything. It is the legit just bucket. It's the, less expensive refillable bucket. And you know what? Let me just say this. I think those things are pretty cool too. They have kind of nice art on them. If you look on the outside, they're not as fancy, obviously, as like, the, whatever they call that, color the with the balloon, whatever, what's that 50th anniversary? What they call that? Luminescence, or I can't remember.
The iridescence.
Yeah. It wasn't like that. It's just a bucket, but the artwork on it was pretty cool. But she would get one at the beginning of the trip, and we'd always forget to bring it to the park about half the time. We get into the park. Oh, we should have brought the bucket because we get more, reduced price popcorn. But she loves getting the popcorn bucket and has done that for like the last 5 years. But I will say one that's kind of semi-related to our Walt Disney World trips is that, and this is so weird, we always get Burger King breakfast at the airport, and we never get Burger King breakfast any other time. I mean, do you guys have any like traveling like snacks or anything you get like at your airport? Wait, and it's kind of a gross Burger King at our airport too. It's not even like super nice, but we just for some reason we always get like a croissant and some those little round hash brown kind of things.
Yeah, I wish I had a tradition. The problem is, Mike, we fly so early that most of the places are closed. So I'm always boarding the plane like super hungry. But yeah, because I thought about that too. Like, is there something like that we do before like a trip? And not really though. I mean, like I can't really think of anything off the top, but I just thought of another one that I kind of gotten away from, which I used to think was like kind of hilarious. But then after like years of doing it and like going so often, I was like, this is kind of silly. Why am I doing this? But I always would take like a sad face, like selfie, like on our last, whatever the last thing we were doing, last ride or, the last swim or whatever. I'd always take a selfie of us like making a sad face. And I'd always post it on the social media, like, oh, traditional sad face photo. And then like, I started getting comments like, what, are you going to be there in like 2 months? And I was like, okay, maybe I should stop doing this. But in those early days, that was like, it was a funny thing, and I love looking at those photos because, like, sometimes like Emily just like, looks like she's about to cry. Like it's so funny. Like I don't know if she's like doing really good acting or what.
Yeah, you were acting. She was for real.
Yeah, exactly. But the traditional sad face photo is what I always called it. I kind of got away from that. Maybe I'll bring that back for our next trip though, because it was kind of funny.
No, I agree. One of the things too was we'd leave. I'd always take park maps. Like if I knew it was my last day, say at Epcot. On the way out, I would get a park map because I would, because like you said, back in the day, we didn't get to go quite as often. And the information wasn't as plentiful like on Twitter. Right now I can see exactly what's going on. I can see a live stream. I'm guarantee I could find somebody live streaming from every park if I wanted to. My connection when I first started going was I would take a park map home and I just read that thing till the print fell off, and that was how I kind of.
Did you used to ever like, speaking of like the traditional sad face photo, like say you were like had a 6-night trip or something, and like day 1, day 2, you're thinking like, oh yeah, so I got like 4 days left or whatever. Day 3, you got 3 days left, and then once you hit like that tipping point, like then I was like sad the rest of the trip. Like I couldn't even have fun.
100%. And here's the thing too. We talked about the psychology of all this like for our Wednesday show, right? Because we talked about the pictures. I would start getting like I wouldn't like ever get mad at anybody, but you would see these people coming in, it's the very beginning of their trip. Like you would get off the bus at Pop Century, say you're like on day 5 of a 6-day trip, right? You still have a good 18 hours left on your vacation. You should savor that. You should still be just as excited as day 1. You should be having a blast. I have a little sadness in my heart already that I'm going home in 18 hours. And I would see people coming in off the Magical Express with their bags. They're looking around. They don't know where they're going. They're like, oh, our room's in this. Woohoo. And I'm just like,
oh yeah. I remember one time, like we were like getting to the monorail to like go to like Epcot or Magic Kingdom. I can't remember which station we were at. And we're walking up and we just missed it. This is like our last day. And it was just pulling out the station. I just kind of like slammed the gate. And I'm like, dang it, I can't believe we missed that. Like, and I was like, Elizabeth, like if you wouldn't have been so slow, like doing blah, blah, blah. It's just like, Scott, just chill out. Another one's about to come. I'm like, I only have like 12 hours and 13 minutes left of this vacation. I'm like, I look back at that, I'm like, man, I just need to chill out. And I have chilled out since then. But like, I used to be like so intense.
I can't believe you're like that. That's crazy. I can't believe that. Okay.
But like, it was real though, man. Like I was always sad. And like, it still is sad when the vacation comes to the end. But now like, you got to look forward to what's coming next, right? There's always, you got to just like start planning, think about the next thing. And that always will change your spirits, right?
I finally realized like, you can't let, like the sadness ruin that last 18 hours. Like that, the last 18 hours could be the best 18 hours of the trip.
It absolutely could, right?
Yeah. But if you get that mindset, you're just, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay. Let's spin the wheel. It's big bucks. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Come on, don't give me the MMA spot here. Let's see what we got. Spinning. Let's see here. Okay. Who in your family? So you could either go with Elizabeth or Emily. Are you most like on a Walt Disney World vacation? Okay, so I'll go first. So out of my 3, Paige, Mallory, and Pam, I would say that I am most like Mallory. Mallory and I in the family are the most alike. because, oh, in some ways we're alike, in some ways we're not. But at Walt Disney World, I think we are because she's the one that likes to really get stuff done, but she also likes to get back to the pool. Like she likes to do things the way I do. She's excited to get there. Even it's kind of died out the last year or two because she's now, 15. But especially when she was like up to like 13, she'd never minded getting up super early in the morning because she wanted to beat the crowd. She saw, and this is why we got along well. She saw Walt Disney World as a competition, right? She knew that if we got there early, we would beat all the other people to the big rides. And really, I mean, that's if you think about it, I mean, it's kind of a bad way to think about it, but it is like there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers when it comes to getting on Splash Mountain. The winners are going to get on in 5 minutes. The losers are going to take 60. You know what I'm saying? Because they stopped and got a cinnamon roll. I mean, you can't think about it that way, but like we were like trying to win the game. And so we'd talk about strategies as we went down. And so we would have that same mindset. And like when we, like when we'd be in the front of a line, we'd high five each other, like, yes, it was worth it getting up an hour early and getting out there. And we still kind of do that. We've gone down a couple times lately, just her and I, or she's been at cheer and we've gone to the park a couple days. I tell her like, it is so worth it. That we've gone here, you've done this now for 10 years. I know you don't want to get up early, but it's so worth it. And we still kind of have that mindset and she knows it's worth it. So Paige doesn't care. Pam doesn't care. They're just like, whatever. And so we're not alike in that sense, but Mallory and I think we see it kind of as a competition, and it is. I mean, everything you're competing for ADRs. You are competing. You can't see it as like winners and losers. I shouldn't have said it that way. But I mean, if you get on a ride in 5 minutes rather than 60, you're buying back 55 more minutes to do whatever you want later on in the day. So we enjoy kind of the gamification of the whole strategy process of a vacation. We take it like to the next level. So I say Mallory, what about you?
I would agree just from my observations though. Like if you would have said Pam, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. I know Pam has a good time like whenever we're together down there, but I know like this would never be like her first like choice of like a Walt Disney World vacation. So Mike, this one is so hard for me, like because like there's so many things that I'm like with both of them. And I'm gonna take this from an interesting perspective where because Elizabeth is like so laid back and like chill, like sometimes me and Emily are like complete opposites, and Elizabeth is always like that middle person. And she's like, she's good with whatever. Like, I'm good with whatever Emily wants to do. I'm good with whatever Scott wants to do. But like me and Emily have so many like certain things we want to do. That's why I feel like I'm more like Emily because of that. They might not always be the same things. Like I want to go swimming, but she just wants to sit in her room and read. But like we're very passionate about the things we want to do. And then a lot of times we do sync up. Like, I mean, we love doing the Run Disney races together. Like she's normally like my ride buddy when like, because of the three of us, like we normally get split up a lot. Like if someone is counting how many attractions we've done, I think I've rode with Emily on more when it's been the three of us. So like, I feel like her and like get that the most. And it's just like, our vacations could be ruined by like the smallest things where Elizabeth is just so laid back. So I think that's where I would be more like Emily, but not necessarily for the same reasons. Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying?
It does, but it's funny how we see each other's families because like I see Elizabeth, I see how you're saying she's laid back. But for example, when we were at Disneyland, like she was so efficient, like on top of everything, because she was like our Genie Plus person, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Immediately she would have our next Genie Plus scheduled. Like the line for Indiana Jones was so long. Like seriously, like we checked in, we scanned in, we had our next attraction before we even got like inside the like cave part of the queue. Like that's how fast we had our next one. So I mean, she's laid back in a sense where she goes with the flow of how the group wants to go.
Yeah.
But she's also very on top of things and
she's efficient. She's like she's the pleaser. She's like that's kind of how she is. Like she doesn't care what we're doing, but if there's certain people like that want to go on a bunch of rides and get all these like Genie Pluses, like she'll take the lead on that and like make sure that other people can get what they want. She doesn't necessarily want it, but she wants to make sure others get it. If you know what I mean? She's like the ultimate mom, I guess, when we're on vacation.
That's cool. It helped a lot, doesn't it? All right, let's spin the wheel here and see what we get. All right, here we go. This is the third topic. Here we go. Big bucks. Let's see what we get.
No whammies, please.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Here it comes. Ooh, this is a good one. What is one of your favorite memories at Walt Disney World? I mean, that is a very general one, and you got millions of them to choose from. So you just get to share one here on a Friday. What do you got?
All right. So I don't know why this is the first thing that came to my mind, but one of my all-time favorite restaurants at Walt Disney World is the California Grill that sits atop of the Contemporary. And Mike, we had so many meals there. Always tried to time it to Wishes or Happily Ever After, whatever the fireworks show is. But I'll never forget this time when Emily was, I don't know, like 7 or 8, maybe. We just finished up a great meal. We go out to the viewing deck and it's Wishes. And like, I think I'm holding her. So maybe she was a little bit younger because like I kind of stopped holding her at a certain age. You know what I mean? Like they grow, man. They get heavy. Like, I'm not going to hold you for a whole fireworks show. I remember like holding her though. So like, she was like at like my height and she just like sang the whole song, like I wish I may, I wish I might, like,
Yes.
and like in her sweet little voice, and like the people are around just like watching her, like they're loving her, like they're not even like watching the show, they're more like watching her like singing the song, like kind of like, oh my god, how many times has this girl like seen this show or whatever, like because she's not being like quiet about it, she's being pretty like vocal and loud.
She
And, like,
the
I'm
kid
just
from the
holding her.
soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just holding her like I love Wishes, I love my family, like we're on vacation, and I just lost it. Like I just like it was one of those dad moments where I just started like crying, like because my child is singing Wishes. Like why am I crying over this, but it just did something for me. And that's why I will, as great as Happily Ever After is or any other fireworks show, that's why, and we talk about this with nostalgia, like Wishes will always be number one for me, and it's because of that moment right there.
That's a good one. Yeah, I totally get it as a dad, of girls. Yeah, exactly. And that show is emotional enough. Like, but when you had
Yep.
daughters, it was rough. Okay, good story. I love that. Okay, here's mine, and involves you. So one of my all-time favorite memories was Dopey when we ran it. You, me, and Paige. I mean, because for me, it was it was my favorite Dopey of any of them because I got to do it with my best friend and my daughter. And that was just, I mean, and the thing was, the reason it was so cool is because this was not like in a fireworks show, it's something that lasts 12 minutes, 15 minutes. This was something that we talked about for a year. And then, none of us really trained a ton, but we talked about
We may have a little bit that
it.
year.
I
I don't
trained a
know.
little, but okay. So, but Paige didn't. But the thing is, like, we got to have that experience over basically the course of over a week because I think that was the year we were down for New Year's too, wasn't it? Or was that not?
Yeah, so we were there for New Year's. We stayed at the boardwalk. We
It
had
was just
like
epic.
adjoining rooms.
Yeah.
Like we did every meal together. Yeah.
So, that's and that's kind of the beauty of like the times we're living in now with like Google Photos and Apple, how they'll send you, this day 5 years ago or this day, or they'll just say, remember this time, it could be July and it just all of a sudden randomly pops up, pictures from Dopey, just remember this day. And it's not the same day, but it was so fun because we knew we were doing something hard and we knew that it was going to be hard on Sunday as far as like getting the marathon in, but we pretty much knew we were going to make it. But we had a good time dressing up like Buzz, Woody, and Jesse and getting our pictures and just goofing. And I think the joy,
And then Saturday.
yeah, and the joy of it too was, yeah, and the Saturday was the rain out where we made it up and just, unexpected. Everybody made the best of a bad situation, became my favorite half marathon ever at Walt Disney World, the unofficial one. But it was also that our families were there. Like Pam was there. She's not always there when I run. And Mallory was there. And we had a ton of friends there too. The Foresters were there. And it was
yeah.
it was the perfect Run Disney weekend. And I think the thing is, Walt Disney World's great. And and I was there this past week, down for training and stuff. But I go to the races a lot, and I'm very blessed to do that. But I go solo, and I'm lucky because I get to hang out with you and your family. I get adopted by you guys. But it's so much better when your entire family's with you, and then also with your like entire crew, which I consider my crew, like the Foresters and Ricky and Brian, and just Jocelyn and her. We have an extended kind of just the crew. And everybody was there that weekend. And it was so, I don't think we could ever recreate it. I think it was just one of those things. It was just the perfect time, the perfect weekend, and I'll never forget it.
Man, that's a great one, Mike. Sorry I didn't include you. Like there were so many memories. Like I could list off like 100 memories with you right now. But yeah, I love that one. And yeah, I love the way you worded that with the crew. And that was the perfect. It was like my first Dopey. Like we did the marathon the year before together. And just everything like outside of the race getting canceled, like everything like aligned perfectly like that weekend.
But
It was
even
so
now,
good.
like, is that was going to be
Yeah.
a terrible thing, but in the end, that turned out to be like something that we still talk about being a positive, you know?
We talk about that all the time. We ran that 13.1. I remember all of our watches weren't necessarily synced because, like you said, we're running till everyone's watch says 13.1.
Yeah.
So like mine's like 13.3 or something. Like it was just kind of funny. And then us running around the studios in the rain and the Rocky theme song playing. Oh, man. Such a great memory. That's a great one, Mike. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh
one.
man, that was the best. And here's the thing. We're doing this show, so hopefully you can play this with your family in the car, you know, and just hopefully you're using these prompts and we can do this again sometime and, you know, get some new prompts. Okay, speaking of new prompts, let's go to the next one here. Let's see. Let me hit this and
It hasn't had to hit a whammy yet. I've liked them all so far.
yeah, but there's one on here that talks about an MMA fighter.
So sure,
I don't know
who
why
do you not
that's
want to
on
get
this wheel. I don't know.
We could just say, who do you not want to get in a fight with?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a Disney character.
Okay, here's a good one.
Oh,
What's a big favor you have done for a friend? How about a big favor that a friend has done for you? So this could be just a favor you've done for somebody at Walt Disney World, or have you ever had somebody do a favor for you? So I'll give you mine because it's my turn to go first. Now you can't really do this as much anymore, but it was, and I hate this because I think this was starting to really gain traction because like Twitter was becoming a thing right at the time that it was the old fast pass swap, the hard, like the paper fast pass thing. So back in the day for all the kids listening, before Genie Plus, there was this thing called fast pass. And even before it was on your phone, it was a piece of paper. And what you would do is you would go around it wasn't every attraction. It was at first it was just kind of the bigger attractions. And you didn't have magic bands back then either. You had a card, your room key. You put your room key into this little machine and it would get spit out a piece of paper and tell you when to come back to ride your attraction with little to no wait, kind of like Genie Plus. But what would happen is you could get these every 2 hours and you could use them for the rest of the day. They had return times where you weren't supposed to use them after that, but they never enforced them until the very end. So we would go in the morning and just get them every two. I remember on my Nokia phone, this was pre-iPhone, I would set an alarm, right? Because it would say you could get another fast pass at 9:53. And so I'd set my phone for like 9:45. So I'd give myself like 7 minutes to like start walking to whatever I want to go to next. So I'd be like right on it. And I would, we'd have 5 or 6 or 7 stacked so that when we'd take a midday break and then we came back in the evening, man, it was just like riding. Boom, 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 boom. You just dished out those fast passes, never waited in line, had the best evenings ever, watched fireworks and so forth, and the parade, Spectrum Magic. But the thing is that many times your plans would change. And so you'd be sitting on like a stack of fast passes, but you're leaving the park. You decide, we're gonna go back and swim, or we're gonna go to another park. And so you'd be walking out of the park with these things and they're like golden tickets. Like I have Space Mountain fast passes, I have Splash, and you'd see people coming in. And by this time, all the fast passes are gone, right? Here's the game we played though, because back then it was only 3 of us. It was myself and Paige and Pam. And so we always said this thing, like, we don't want to give it to a family of 4 because then you're going to just start.
You can't do that.
Like, you can't just give this to a family of 4 because they're going to have to pick like what kid doesn't ride Space, So we'd always be kind of like study on the way. No kidding. We'd do this every time. We'd study like and try to come up with, is that a family of 3 or is the dad just going to the bathroom or what? Like, what do we think? Like, are we safe? Okay. And then you'd approach them. And the funniest thing was sometimes people think like you're trying to sell them like a timeshare or something. Like they would not take them. I'm like, no, seriously. All you gotta do is go up and just hand them this. Well, it was yours. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like my name's not on it. You can ride Space Mountain right now. Like the line's 90 minutes. Just walk in. Boom, you can. No, thank you. Like, okay. But I love that because a lot of times when you gave those to families, because we'd always try to give a family of 3, they would be so happy. And a lot of times it hit us, like Karma Comes Around and you would get something like that on the way in every once in a while. And it was just, it was unexpected, but it was just guests, putting pixie dust on other guests. And I love that. And you can still do it now, but I think with digital things, it's a little bit harder.
Oh, it's so much harder now. And like, yeah, we've been gifted that before too. And it's like, oh man, we're hitting the jackpot here. That's so kind of those people to do. And like, how badly, like just talking about this, man, I miss paper fast passes. Those things were so great. But they would make you so nervous too. Like you put them in your pocket, you know, and like, what if you went on like Splash Mountain and they got wet or like destroyed, or, you know, like you put them in your wallet and it falls out or something. Like you'd be like, man, like you never want to lose those things. Like you said, they were gold. Like you were always nervous you were going to lose them. At least now, like being digital, you can't really lose them, which is the good thing.
That's true. All right. So what's something that you had happen or you've done for other guests?
Yeah. So this is like a little bit of both. And this is like way back in the day, kind of like in our early trips, right? Where you really weren't like, your phone wasn't like necessarily the best camera. You really weren't taking selfies that much, but we would always try to see like a family that, you know, was taking a photo of like two, like the mom was taking a photo of like the two kids. And we were like, well, they should be in a photo together, you know? So we would often ask like, hey, can we take a photo of all of you? Because people really weren't trying to take a selfie with like a point and shoot back in the day.
Right,
so
right.
we would always be on the lookout for that. One, to be nice, right? It's a nice thing to do. Then sometimes they would offer the same thing back. Like, hey, do you want a photo of you all? I'm like, oh yeah, actually we do. But there's just something always fun about that. Like it's engaging and like it's a very small thing, but like sometimes mom or dad is always behind the camera and we're never in the photo. So like we always were like outgoing, like just seeking anyone taking a photo and always asking like, hey, can we take a photo of you? Do you want to just hop in there? And everyone was like, oh, we're always so thankful. It's funny nowadays, like you don't really like,
No.
we still offer, but like most people are like, oh no, we're good. We're just going to do a selfie. That's kind of how it is now.
And I feel bad because a lot of times I am just taking a selfie because it's kind of just the style of the picture I'm looking for, just kind of a random, you know, casual looking picture. But yeah, it is.
Because sometimes I just want like our shoulders up, you know, like I don't necessarily want like our legs in the photo or whatever, you know what I mean? Because that's usually what happens when someone will take the photo and they might not do it the way I wanted, which is okay. Like it's nice that they're offering, but that's always just like a fun thing to do. And you can still do it today, but it's just kind of like yours. You're not seeing it as often. Well, you definitely can't see yours anymore, but like you're not seeing this as often because like PhotoPass is great now too. A lot of people have Memory Maker, and then people just like taking selfies now.
Bottom line is we're old.
Yep. Things that we do 10 years ago that you can't do today.
Holy cow. Okay, let's spin the wheel one last time for this episode. We'll have to bring this back. I'm enjoying this. Okay, so let's see here. Let's bring the wheel back up here. And let's go no whammies. One last
no whammies.
Here we go. Let's see what we get.
Give me the big bucks.
Yeah, don't give me the MMA question. Here we go. It is coming up on... Oh, man, it's a great one. What is your favorite holiday at Walt Disney World?
And boy, does Walt Disney World celebrate the holidays.
This one is made for this game. Again, we just had it at Walt Disney World for this. We could do cruise, we could do whatever. We could do this at Disneyland. So I think it's my turn to go for. No, it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn actually. So there's two like major holidays, right? And then that they celebrate, but there's others like. You celebrate like New Year's. You can celebrate like 4th of July. I mean, there's so many.
Rockus Groundhog Day this past last week. You know, I heard.
Yeah, you celebrate Groundhog Day, the Scott and Elizabeth's date anniversary.
That's right.
But we might go on the same one here though, Mike. But like, it's Christmas for me. Like, maybe a few years ago I was at Halloween because I do love Halloween at the parks. I mean, every holiday is so great. I mean, this is the best place to be for any holiday, I really think, because Walt Disney World like does it up. They know how to celebrate. But it's going to be Christmas for me because I'm a resort guy and all the resorts do their own thing, right? Like there's so many great Christmas trees at the resorts. They're themed to the season, and you got the parties. Like you got Main Street USA, all like, you know, we always talk about like, it's like that old town that is hard to find, you know, you got like the Snope and everything, and Epcot. Not only is Epcot doing Christmas, but they're doing like all the holidays around the world with like the storytellers and everything. Like it's the whole, like they encompass the whole holiday season. That's why Epcot's actually my favorite for the holidays, because there's so much going on there. But every park is doing their own thing. Every resort, there's like special meals and dinners. They got the hard ticket events. Like it's just, there's no place I'd rather be to celebrate Christmas, I feel like, than Walt Disney World. And that's why it's got to be the best holiday for me.
And I'm right with you. I can't really say even much more than you said. It is Christmas. And the thing is, I like Christmas for the nostalgia. The more and more, the older I get, the more it's about nostalgia. And it's, you know, I love seeing the scenes of like 50s vintage looking Christmas cards and movies and in that kind of look. And really there's very few places where you can walk through that three-dimensionally, you know, like you said, like Main Street USA, you can walk through and you can see this older time period with Christmas music playing that you just love and that you know and that comforts your soul, because we love these Christmas background loops. We listen to them all the time.
Oh yeah.
So they're almost like old friends that come around every Thanksgiving, and we listen to them again till about New Year's. And like you said, you see the fake snow, and even just the cast members in their costumes make everything more festive, and the opportunity to have Christmas snacks as you're walking around, and there's a little bit more of a chill in the air in Florida, and it's not so hot. It feels different. You get to bust out, sweaters and stuff on your trip. And, for one thing, it's darker a lot longer. So you get to really explore, the lighting packages in the Magic Kingdom with all the Christmas decorations. It's just, it's magical too, because a lot of us watch this on Christmas morning, and you make that connection like, oh, I'm down there, I'm celebrating Christmas. But then on the actual holiday, if we're home, that kind of gives us that attachment to, well, we're home on Christmas morning, but this is our favorite place. And we go back to having those discussions like, remember when we were there last month and we were at the Christmas party, or, 5 years ago or whatever. But yeah. And you mentioned a great part about Epcot. It's educational and entertainment at the same time. It's kind of the mantra from when Epcot opened, but it's a trip around the world, but it's fun. It's fun, but you learn so much by the storytellers. People rave about that.
Yep. Yep. And all the holidays are great though. Like I think I've been there for every like major holiday. Like 4th of July is fantastic. And like we even have one coming up, Mike, which is funny. Like I didn't know they even did anything, like Valentine's Day. So we checked in like a day or two after Valentine's Day one year at like Pop, and the girls were giving like roses as we checked in. Like I was like, this is awesome. Like what the heck? Like they're one up in me. I didn't have a rose for Elizabeth or Emily. Like, but like and then we've been there for Easter. Like we've seen the Easter parade. So they do all these like one-off kind of fun things for the holidays. So it's never going to be like always have to be like this big, production. But man, they know how to do holidays right. But Christmas, I mean, it's hard. I don't know how I can say anything else. Christmas is so awesome.
Got all the trees and all the resorts, and it feels so good down there. Typically at Christmas time, rather than July, it's super hot. Yeah, it's just and again for me, it's about the nostalgia and the music, the background loops. It's amazing. So, well, hey, I think this was kind of a hit. I think we can do this again. Did you like it? I liked it.
Yeah, I like not having like. This is how all our shows are, the listener questions. Like, we don't know necessarily what we're going to talk about. And this one, we absolutely had no idea. Like, we spin the wheel, like, and whatever comes up, we talk about. And it's kind of fun to get a more, like, authentic answer that way. So I really enjoyed this, Mike.
Maybe we'll bust this out on a Sunday night show while we have a caller on the air. And
yeah, we can put someone else on the spot. Remember you're like 6 and 10 or whatever it was?
And you know what?
Yeah.
We have a new mixer coming to the studio. And hopefully it'll be in place here in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to bust out 5 and 10 again. So be ready for that. We're going to play more games. We're making the show even more interactive because we're upgrading systems here in the Be Our Guest podcast studios. So hopefully every time I say that, I get nervous that everything's going to crash, which usually happens at first.
What this means is like, I'm going to have to record like an emergency pod because the day you're planning it, something's going to break. So
what that
clear my schedule
behind the scenes. What this means is Scott will be called. He'll be on all the test calls with my dad as he's trying to connect everything for the 17th time. Scott, can you hear? My dad starts getting mad because nothing's working and I'm getting freaked out because I can't record the shows, but eventually we get it back. But it's always a hairy, 12 hours.
Yeah.
But
like in the real business world, this is like doing like a big deployment over the weekend. You got to do user acceptance testing is what this is.
It's ugly. I'm already sweating thinking about it. As soon as I ordered the thing,
I'm on call that weekend. Sometimes I might get a call at 2:30 in the morning. We got an emergency, something code's breaking.
Yeah. When I ordered, I'm like, this is the perfect thing we need for the studio. But as soon as I ordered it, I was like, oh, this means we got to install this thing. I started freaking out. Anyway, it's going to be great. So we're going to jump out of here. Let's get on with your super weekend. Have a good time. And as always, don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Agents are standing by right now to help you plan a great Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Just swing by the website, themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. It supports everything we do throughout the year. And a special thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest podcast. Thank you so much for supporting everything we do. Our patrons also get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. So if you'd like to support us and get that bonus show, come on over. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give Scott a follow on the social media at Epscott, EPSCOT, Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike in the same places. And again, no live show this Sunday night, but we'll be back again. Will we, or will we be at Princess the next Sunday?
It'll be President's Day weekend, which I don't think I'll be anywhere. So
I don't think so either. So we'll do one, and then we'll be
because we'll be out the next one. That'll be 3 in a row. So I'll try not to go anywhere.
We'll try to make that out. Yeah, we'll be there, Presidents. I'll at least be there for sure, and you probably will be. So we'll make that happen. All right, so we are going to jump out of here, and hope you have a great weekend. So again, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Good stuff. That was fun.
Nice, good episodes. Yeah.
Okay, take a week off.
I know, right? Like, what the heck? Like, do you already have like another trip report then, or
I did 2 yesterday.
you did? Okay, nice.
2 Monday shows yesterday. I've done 7 podcasts this week.
Now you can actually take a break. That's gonna be nice.
Well, if we could still do this Sunday night, because I'll be back. I have to do this Sunday night because of how I numbered the shows.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to be home?
Yeah, I'll be home Sunday.
Because there's nothing on this Sunday. There's
nothing going on. Yeah,
except the flag football game.
and I'm usually home. I'm usually home on a Sunday night. It's just unless like we're out for a weekend, which we're not going anywhere this weekend.
Okay, cool. Let's plan on doing it this Sunday night like normal, and then next Sunday night not.
Sounds good.
Chill. Okay, I'm gonna edit these. My dad thinks I got the Roadcaster. He was coming over to get it, so I got to call him because it didn't get delivered. So I told him.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.